What's up, everybody? If you're wondering what's playing behind me, it's my own video. Yeah, somebody's gotta watch them, right? We are gonna be going over some of the finales of my favorite shows from the 2000s. I already have a big plan to go over all of them, like Sweet Life, Hannah Montana, like all the ones that I've really liked, but I think it's time to start with one of the more interesting ones, which is Wizards of Waverly Place. Disney Channel's really interesting when they did their series to movies, because it was never like quite at the end or quite at the beginning like Jimmy Neutron was or SpongeBob was supposed to be. So I'm not surprised that, like Hannah Montana, the movie was placed right before the last season. I mean, I don't understand why they think that's helpful. It definitely is confusing to have a plot that's so big it justifies a movie, but not big enough that it takes over the rest of the show, and not big enough that it doesn't have lasting impact over the rest of the show. Like, for me, that's hard. It's hard to press the reset button and go back to a sitcom after you had a big cinematic experience. What's up, everybody? It's Johnny 2000, covering all 2000s media, from movie, TV, video games, and so much more. We've been thinking about the wizarding competition since it was mentioned in season 1 of Wizards of Waverly Place, and it's always been this kind of like end game for Wizards. Like, we knew that this was going to be where it ended. And if anything, they did it in the movie a little bit prematurely, because we expected it to be at the very end of the series, but it came up earlier in order to resolve the plot. Apparently that was the only way to finish off that plot. So now that we're jumping back into the final episode, it's almost like, what are we going to expect? Like, how is this going to play out? Especially if we're used to this huge cinematic experience. Knowing that that was the end of something else, and this is going to be the end of the whole series, how are they going to match up with it? It's almost impossible not to compare the two, and that kind of makes me sad, because you shouldn't be comparing it to one another. You should be excited that it's going to be doing something new. But you know what? Series finales for kids shows must be so hard, because it's like you only have 60 to 80 episodes to really establish the full show as it is. So this is the first time I've actually seen this. I watched all of Wizards up until season 3, and then I stopped watching after the movie, I believe. So this is going to be really fun for me to jump back in. I definitely think it'll inspire me to watch the rest of the series and maybe continue doing my retrospectives, but only if you guys really show a lot of interest in that. I don't really want to waste my time too much, but I love Alex, Justin, and Max. It's one of the funniest Disney Channel shows ever, and it's so down to earth despite being about wizards. My expectations are it's probably not going to be as good as the movie, so I want to keep my mind open to think that maybe it's going to be good in its own right. Maybe it's going to give the series a very respectable ending, and I'm excited to see how that's going to play out. So without further ado, let's dive in to the final episode of Wizards of Waverly Place, the 2-part episode. Okay, so we're at a dinner that Alex made with completely no magic, which is a surprise because Alex is known to abuse magic. So they're interrupted when Headmaster Crumbs appears, because apparently the selfish act activates the Russo family wizard competition. I don't know why her specifically making dinner would have done that, but whatever, I guess.
All she did was open up a jar of spaghetti sauce and made pizza wrong.
Take what you can get.
So they're sprung into the family competition, which we know from the feature film kind of what it's going to look like. We have a little bit of expectations here. I definitely was not expecting a sitcom set with a game show-like setup. It's a little jarring, to say the most. So round 1 of the competition is a trivia round. Everybody's like joking about how Max isn't gonna get it. Like, Jerry assumes it's gonna be Alex. Teresa thinks it's gonna be Justin. It's all over the place here. And there's bleachers. It's like a high school football game. Round 1 is the competition round, in which questions about magic and spells are asked. When they start the competition, we see this guy from Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that show, but he's the MC here, and he's really funny. Before they get on stage, Jerry makes the kids promise to each other that they would stick together no matter what. No matter how this goes, they would be there for one another.
Not to me, to yourselves.
Promise.
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 So Max gets the first answer right, but Justin tries to correct him, and oh my god, Justin, really? Right now? He's kind of annoying. Juliet and Mason, you know, the significant others of Alex and Justin, show up too, and it's even more like a football game as they're getting ready to cheer on the competition.
Max, you know that button is not a microphone and we haven't started the questions yet, right? The answer to that is no, I did not know. We did not start the question.
It's an interesting concept of pitting siblings against each other, kind of like a chicken fight, or putting animals in a cage and making them wrestle. Like, it feels a little weird in that sense. It's really hard for me not to compare this to the movie, and I cannot get over it. Like, I wish the set was a little bit more realistic, because the one that was in the movie was just so intense. You can tell they were on location, you could tell that everything was high stakes, high energy, and then here we're at a game show. It's hard to get on the realistic side, but I'm trying to keep my mind open here. Master Crumb is really funny. I feel like if he was in the movie or had some part of realistic connection or association with that environmental location, it could have really impacted this set a lot better. It could have been like, okay, we're associating him with the quality of the competition, and now this is another one. But since that is so separate, like the movie reality from Professor Crumb, it feels like this is a set. I wish they spent time in this so far establishing character flaws and stakes. It feels like they kind of just jumped right into, oh, there's going to be a competition, and we didn't really get time to understand that. It feels like they kind of relied on the entire series to feel like a first act. Like, usually we get to see everybody's main problem, their goal, but I feel like it's a little lazy to lean on the entire series to be like, oh, like, you guys know the flaws, you know this, like, let's just jump to the competition, let's get to the action. And I'm not sure if that's a fair way to set up storytelling devices like that. At least this is in HD. I mean, I'm so tired of seeing those bars on the side of the screen. It looks at really high quality. And then the B plot, we have Harper and Zeke, the humans, and they're hanging out in the wizard lair, and Zeke accidentally turns purple. So we're back at the competition, and during the second round, Harper and Zeke appear. The purple substance on him actually causes one of the Griffins that Alex is working on to kidnap him and Harper and fly away. Oh my god, this is terrifying.
This is probably a good time to go to commercial. We might be right back.
Only really Alex is concerned about them. I don't know why Justin and Max have no empathy here, but she's the one pushing to actually do something about it. Okay, so it seems like everybody's a little out of their characters, but I mean, I appreciate that Alex is showing selflessness. Like, it's really important. Like, this whole episode, I really hope they emphasize her likable sides, especially since this is the last time we're probably going to see them, as it's a two-part finale. So Alex manages to convince Justin and Max to all sacrifice their timeouts for a full 45-minute timeout in order to go help their friends.
All right, come on, let's go.
I hate how Justin hesitates on this one. Like, Justin, you're kind of cold in this. I mean, maybe they're setting up for him not to win in that instance, because it's like, why would you be so hesitant here? But then they eventually give in and they decide to go. So they head over to this really rocky, deserted landscape, and it's actually kind of beautiful. It definitely reminds me of the movie. It does a really good job at looking realistic and not just green screen like it usually would. I'm really happy that the flying carpets are incorporated too. Like, that's a good throwback. And I don't know, the cinematography here just really works for me. I'm happy with how this is panning out. Oh wait, and then they're on a set again. Okay, so now all these rocks and being on the set definitely takes me out of it. But whatever. I'm gonna excuse it because so far it's beat my expectations in how good it is so far. It's not like this TV show isn't given care, but I feel like the issue is this should have been a movie. Like, this could have been a sequel or the first movie, but unfortunately that's not the cards we were dealt. They find Harper in this giant nest, and it's so gross. And Justin is okay with leaving behind Zeke, which is like, what the heck, Justin? Why are you so unlikable in this section?
Guys, there is no time. We'll come back for him later.
No, I am not leaving without Zeke.
Harper, I was just being a nice guy. There was no coming back for Zeke.
But then Zeke eventually does come out, and he reveals that he clog danced his way out of the Griffin's stomach. Ew, what? The Griffin comes back and attacks all three of them. So Justin, Alex, and Max have to work together to stop it.
You guys know my favorite distraction, right?
Once they're finally able to save their friends, stop the Griffin, they come back to the competition site and it's vastly empty. It turns out that time ran out. Like, it's all done. Professor Crumbs comes back.
The competition is over.
Awesome, who won?
No way, we called a timeout.
Which expired. That says the competition for you. You are hereby disqualified.
And it suddenly gets really sad. Like, I feel like it was very cheery up until this point, And it took a really dark turn to see that, like, all three main characters would not be keeping their powers. And Professor Crumbs even says, like, this is the last time I will ever see you.
But the Russo family line of wizards will end forever.
Professor Crumbs.
Your wands, please.
The music works really well here. It feels like this is definitely an emotional scene, and while it would have been better in a film format, I definitely think they did a good job at capturing the emotions here. But that's the thing, if Crumbs was in the movie, that might help a little bit more, because the fact that we're never going to see this man again is really sad, but it relies on you having known him throughout the whole series. If you're just jumping in, like, it's kind of like, why is this guy so impactful to them? And I wish he had a little bit more significance, like, not like a main character, but at least as, like, important as Harper, or having an inspirational moment with him, so we actually care specifically that he is not going to be here anymore. So the guy who wrote the Hannah Montana movie, the Wizards of Waverly Place movie, Dan Berenson. He wrote the movie. I don't know why he couldn't do the finale, because he did a phenomenal job on that. I really wish a feature film movie writer put this in. I mean, but that's just me trying to turn this into a movie. I get it. It's a TV show. I'm trying to accept that fact. So we end on everybody kind of being really depressed, and that is a good way to end the first part. And that's where we finally get to the actual final episode of Wizards of Waverly Place. So Justin and Max are super angry, Alex feels super guilty, and they're all blaming her for it, when I would kind of be mad at the friends.
Alex just cut down our family tree and burned it.
I told you that I thought we would make it back in time.
Come on, Justin. Now's not the time to point fingers, honey.
Suddenly, like, the world is starting to erupt, and the lair closes, and it actually disappears. The lair's entrance even turns back into a fridge. Like, and this is really depressing. Like, I love how intense this is getting. Obviously better for a movie, but, you know, whatever. To think this is the final episode of the show, having all these really depressing things happen is really exciting. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Not exciting, but it feels like something really impactful is about to happen. It feels like things could end this way. Like, there's a lot more at stake than a season finale, than anything else possible, and I love that it's working in that sense. And it's really leading us to believe that it might not, and it does a great job at that. I even feel bad for Jerry, who is so heartbroken when his kids break up, essentially.
I know none of this worked out like you hoped, but I need you to get past it. Put your differences aside and work together.
The resentment is really fun. Even Max is mad. I mean, it's not even in a humorous sense. It's just like, everybody's just genuinely mad. And apparently weeks even go by when Harper and Alex are walking down the exterior of the substation, and Alex doesn't want to see Max or Justin, and Justin and Max don't want to see Alex. And it's really sad because Max has always kind of been a bystander. He never really took anything super against Alex, but now it feels like they're all divided. I wish this is kind of where the whole thing started. Like, I wish this whole special started with this. That way it could lead to something when we got to the second act and it be the wizard family competition. The dad comes out and actually puts up a sign that says he's closing down the sub shop. All the kids are like, what? Why would you do that?
Dad, what's happening?
Selling the business.
What? Why?
We're not much of a family anymore.
And it's like, obviously, you guys aren't even friends anymore. Nobody's gonna, you know, like, this isn't a family shop anymore. And the weight of everything hits Alex. Alex wants to be the only optimistic one, so she actually starts unpacking the boxes and is like, no, I'm gonna make sure this still happens. You know, the fact that they don't know who they are outside of being wizards is so, like, they're trying to find out who they really are. They essentially believe they have no purpose because of not being wizards, and that is really interesting. I like how the scenes aren't really ending on jokes, they're ending on more, like, character-based moments, and that's kind of like a feature film-like thing, so I wish they just committed to it, but whatever. So the kids have to learn how to work together through this sub shop, and like they're trying to reopen it, but Alex and Justin obviously are completely at odds and fight each other, and it's really sad. But it kind of reminds me of the first season when they were so against each other that it was just so hard for them to work together, and having them fight is just a nice callback to the first season. Slowly, Justin and Max start to act a lot more caring toward Alex, and it seems like they're rebuilding their relationship along with the sub shop, and it's very meaningful. The musical montage is so endearing, and it like brings back all these season 1 vibes. Seeing Justin be so cold toward Alex and Max is like really cool because he is such a complex character. Like, when he's mad, he is so flawed, and when he's a good person, it's like so earned, and I like that. He's not just a comedic relief character. Imagine if Josh were David Henry's part, Josh Peck. That would be really funny.
I can't believe how busy we were.
Yeah, Alex had so much going on. She made a sandwich with peanut butter on the outside of the bread.
No, I did that on purpose. That's what a 40-year-old gets for ordering off the kids' menu.
Alex actually apologizes to the family, and it's so meaningful.
I'm really sorry for messing up the wizard competition.
Suddenly, they are whisked back to the competition again. Oh god, this set. I love how they're warped with the booth, and Harper didn't come along. Like, if Teresa came along, why didn't Harper come along? And how did they get that out of there? Apparently, they revealed that the Griffin was a test that tests the siblings' bond, specifically for the Russos.
Who do I know you from?
What? Okay, so if this was a test, why did it go on for multiple weeks? Was it really that important? Apparently, the Griffin was supposed to take Professor Crumb.
But apparently, he was hungry for something a little fresher, and he went for your colorful friend instead.
I wish we set up a little bit earlier that all these games would be more psychological than necessarily magic. I like that it's focused on magic but gets psychological, but I still feel like we could have leaned into that a little bit more than the game show aspect. But hey, there's still time. It's exciting to come back to this game show knowing that their relationship is so on the rocks. Like, these guys could stop being friends at any moment. Like, they've just started getting their relationship back on track. It feels like there's going to be a lot more at stake. So Alex starts to show promise of winning as they start to go through the final test. It actually shows them scenes from the former episodes, and like, it's kind of asking them which spells they used, and it's really cool because Alex, of course, knows all of this because she made the most mistakes. And it's kind of a metaphor for the people who fail more often are always the ones who end up more successful because they learn, they grow, and Justin really has a tough time dealing with this. Like, he even gets an answer wrong. I'm really worried about these guys being siblings after this. Like, I don't even care who's the family wizard anymore. Finally, they're given one last competition, and they're all dressed up in their nice wardrobe, and I actually really like the purple. It looks good. They run off, and they're back into another vast landscape, but it kind of looks more like the one they fought the Griffin in, so I'm not super excited to see it again. I wish it was like a desert or like something unique, you know? There's a large path of rocks, and Max goes first with Justin following, and then finally Alex surpasses all of them and gets to the next section. It's interesting because Alex is doing such a good job, and we're actually really worried about her losing. Finally, the last part of this challenge is this giant labyrinth. Oh my god, this maze looks horrifying. I can't believe how long it lasts. I'm like having trouble who we're following here. Like,
Can you guys be quiet? I'm in a maze.
they definitely split the characters evenly across this episode, which is more of a television thing. Like, if this were a movie, we would have to follow Justin, have to follow Alex. Like, it's a little bit more structured in who we're rooting for, but the fact that like it's very evenly placed is kind of exciting. I am curious who's gonna win. Justin gets trapped inside one of the dead ends, and it's terrifying. Honestly, if you put me in this, I would die. I don't even know if I would look for a little bit, I would try to get my way out, but like, honestly, like, seeing so many dead ends, I would just sit down and accept my fate. Okay, so after this tiring, exhausting maze, they finally get out, and surprise, it's Justin. Well, it's not really a surprise. We know he's the most responsible one, but I guess we expected Alex to win since she's like kind of the main character. Justin is about to be crowned the full wizard. It's nice to see the siblings accept this fact. Like, we're so worried about their relationship, and it feels very fulfilling that it's still safe. But he reveals that he didn't deserve it.
What's he doing?
What do you mean?
Justin, don't do this.
I have to.
Because back when they were at the last section of the competition, Justin got stuck and Alex was about to win, but she decided to go back and help him. And the three stopped right at the exit door before the competition won. I love this moment where it's just them standing outside the door. It's like, it didn't even matter how much obstacles they just went through. They're all evenly played here. And so she let Justin win. Justin is caring and says that she deserved to win. And I was worried that Justin would get really mad at her, but the fact that he's the one to claim that Alex deserves it makes it all feel worth it. Professor Crumbs finally crowns Alex the full wizard, and we feel bad for Justin, until Professor Crumbs reveals that he is going to be leaving WizTech and needs somebody to fulfill his spot.
And because of your integrity and knowledge, I want you to take my place.
But I'm not a wizard.
Asking Justin to do that, and he gives him back his powers as full wizard. And they finally give Max the sub shop since everybody else has gotten something and everybody feels bad.
So Alex and Justin get to be wizards, and I get the family substation. That's awesome! Guess what, guys? I get the substation!
And this is where it ends. Whew, okay. So that was definitely a better episode than I thought. I think part 1 was a little laggy, and I spent a little too much time trying to accept the fact that the movie wasn't the final thing, which I know they never anticipated that being, but for some reason that experience, the way it was presented, just set the expectations so high, and I do feel like my expectations were somewhat met. There were definitely no disappointments during this special. I mean, we could have did a little bit better with the sets and coinciding the movie with the series, but for what they were given and how they made it work, I was very impressed. Not only did they still go out of the bounds of the actual set, but all the characters had a meaningful conclusion to where they were going. Like, nobody really got the short end of the stick, despite the fact that it's literally meant to have one winner. Like, the wizard competition is only allowed to crown one person, and it seems like in most scenarios the audience wouldn't be happy because we've grown to love and care about all these characters. I definitely give this whole thing a 8 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10 actually. The movie I give a 10 out of 10, but 8.5 out of 10 is great for a TV show finale. There's a lot of finales that have done really bad, or shows that have never even gotten a proper finale, like Sonny with a Chance or Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. And I'm just so glad that the series feels so complete from episode 1 to the 29th episode of season 4. Wizards of Waverly Place had such a successful run from the beginning up until the very end. There's no season where we're like, oh, it fell off then, it did this. And just because we're saying that the movie was its peak doesn't mean saying the rest isn't amazing and incredible, actually. So I would highly advise you guys to revisit this because it is so nice. And the idea of establishing identities outside of the job you were given this entire show, like being a wizard, is just so intense, and it really manages to pay off in a fulfilling way. I really liked the finale of Wizards of Waverly Place. Now, if you guys want to see any more videos, just let me know in the comments, and I'm curious how you feel about this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Johnny2000, covering the TV, film, and music of the 2000s. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Well, guys, not everything has a happy ending. Not even the show you loved so much, specifically in 2009, had a happy ending. I'm gonna be the first one to tell you guys that, so you don't get your hopes up. Yeah, so I never said Sonny with a Chance was the best show ever, but I do really like it. I heavily relate to the idea of wanting to make people laugh as a career and getting to know people on the way that also have similar aspirations. Sonny with a Chance is so good at being optimistic, following this Sonny Monroe character who, she's like SpongeBob. She just wants everybody to get along and everything to be great, and that's what makes a genuine comedian, I feel like. So then why was she stabbed in the heart? What's up, everybody? It's Johnny2000, covering all 2000s media, from movie, TV, video games, and so much more. Yeah, Sonny with a Chance was robbed of a life. Okay, well, that's a little dramatic. It was your grandmother's savings in the safe at the top of the house, but you left the keys out, so then obviously somebody got in, and you can't even blame them because it's like, I left the keys out, it's okay. No, but yeah, so we got season 1 of Sonny with a Chance had 21 episodes, season 2 had 26, and I think we all know, it's no secret, that the show wasn't intended to end after 26. Demi Lovato ended up going to another place. You could look that up. You know, basically, we couldn't continue the series. So, episode 26, the final episode of Sonny with a Chance, was never intended to be a finale. See, it's not every day that TV shows get the privilege of being able to continue as long as they want, but also get a conclusive ending. Sonny with a Chance is one of the victims of this network dispute. And now I know you're saying, Johnny, the network didn't cancel it, Demi left. Yes, but it was the network's responsibility to keep the workplace environment so healthy that you wouldn't revert to something like that. And while it's easy to say it was one thing or the other, it's a little bit of both. So it got through its first season super successfully. While they didn't have really a season finale, it still had Sonny coming in, having a good time, being a part of the show, overcoming obstacles, really fitting in. So it's a good show, right? Then we get to the second season. We start off strong, get a bunch of musical numbers. Chad Dylan Cooper becomes a little bit more main of a character because he's awesome. Where the episode where the skinny jeans took over all the main cast's bodies and they sang about it, or the one Gassy, the farting dog, passes away. I mean, Sonny with a Chance is super random. I don't have much that I can change about this. All I can do as a proud American is complain. I wish Sonny with a Chance got to keep going, but it didn't. But we can recognize the ideas that were started that never truly finished. And I'm not 100% sure I would have even enjoyed where this show was going anyway. So not only did they not get the finale they deserved, but it was cut off in the middle of a really important story arc. So the final episode is called New Girl. The So Random cast members are in the prop room trying to come up with a new sketch for the show. Someone suggests making a sketch show about a girl and a boy breaking up, because apparently that's what happened with Sonny and Chad, and Sonny just asks if they could just drop it and not talk about it. So the rest of the cast offers ideas about a sketch about Bunny, a nice girl who has her heart broken by evil Brad Millen Duper. Wonder who that is. Tawny adds, who runs like a girl, and they all mimic Chad running like a girl. Then he actually shows up to the prop closet, telling Sonny he's looking for his sunglasses, but it's very clear that he misses her. Yeah, you guys don't feel that? I do.
Sunglasses. I wore to the beach from that time we were dating.
Yeah, well, maybe you should try the beach.
Sonny tells him, if you let those sunglasses have their moment in the sun, maybe they wouldn't have broken up with you. And he runs off like a girl. Then we have Sonny writing a song at her apartment. Okay. So the neighbor upstairs complains about the noise level, and Sonny apologizes about the thin walls. The randoms then go to their new hangout, the patio. Okay, cool. Coffee house, nice. Sonny notices there's entertainment here, where somebody's playing the guitar, and that's kind of like what she's been into lately. She's been into songwriting for some reason. She actually debates singing her songs there. So she fakes getting a drink to talk to an employee. The new employee is named Mel, and it's this girl that has a crush on Grady, the feet on the table guy. Mel tells Sonny where the sign-up sheets are, and her and Grady have a connection. Later, Sonny's at her house singing when the neighborhood yells again that she's tired of the song. Someone knocks on her door, and it turns out it's Chad, looking for his hat from when they were dating. Chad, back off. Chad notices Sonny wrote a song, so he steps in and screams with her guitar and sings himself.
Am I gonna have to come down there?
Oh, yeah? Do it! Yeah, come down! Woo! Didn't think there'd be a man in the house, did you? Did you? Woo.
But then we find out Mel actually lives upstairs. Yeah, she shows up to complain and realizes it's Sonny. So Mel actually is threatened by Sonny because apparently 8:30 is her time slot to sing, and if Sonny were to sing, her audience might not like it. Oof. Mel, you're just saying Demi Lovato's a bad singer? Chad jumps in and challenges her $20 if the audience doesn't like Sonny more than her. Obviously, this is tension between Sonny and Chad because they're not together and they're acting like a couple. Like, the boundary issues is evident. So we finally hit the patio and Sonny is ready to start singing. Suddenly, everybody's clapping for a joke she didn't even mean to make.
Seriously, that wasn't that funny of a joke. And that wasn't even a joke.
What is going on? It's a really funny moment, but then it's revealed that Chad actually paid everybody in that audience to be there and applause in order for Sonny to win this bet. Kind of sweet, I think. Yeah, they're all actors from the show, and he has a funny line saying that he doesn't even like them.
You packed the place with your friends?
I wouldn't do that. These are paid professionals that I would never be friends with.
So she's upset, and she's like, okay, I know you mean well, Chad, but this is why we broke up, and she leaves. Oof. Harsh. So then we're back coming up with sketches with So Random, and now she's obsessing over Chad. And this is a funny part.
To go into the space program.
And the shuttle lands on Chad's moon-sized ego like we didn't all see that one coming.
Later, Sonny actually shows up to Mel's apartment, giving her the money for the bet, but she doesn't take it, because apparently Sonny was never able to sing. Oh, so this girl's actually kind of nice. She says she'll happily take the money when she actually wins the bet. Oh, so this girl's really thoughtful. Honestly, this is kind of a better Tawny. They both argue, and eventually Sonny helps Mel rearrange her furniture. At the patio, Grady, Mel... At the patio, Grady and Mel finally have a little bit of a conversation, and it's revealed that both of them definitely like each other. It's very good. Sonny finally performs, but Chad comes out, and then suddenly she cannot sing the song anymore. Ooh, what's going on, Sonny? So she runs off stage, she can't sing it, and what is going on? So finally, Mel visits Sonny one more time to talk to her about the song and why she couldn't sing. Suddenly, she knows that it's about Chad. She tells her, it's definitely about you, and she has a really inspirational quote.
You know, you either wrote that song to get him out of your system or because you don't want him out of your system. Either way, he's still in your system and you need to deal with that.
Then finally, she encourages Sonny one last time to get up on stage and sing that song. Later, we finally get the song in a 3-minute long scene. Oh my gosh, Disney Channel just loves to break out into song like this for this long. She finally feels it, and we're so happy she finally got to, although I'm pretty annoyed because I thought she was a comedian. She finally receives the standing ovation, and her and Mel are good friends. The next day, Sonny and Chad run into each other at the studio, and Chad says, like, I heard you killed it, and they have a finally civil conversation that boundaries are respected in.
Good.
Good.
Fine.
Fine.
And they do their typical good, fine dialogue before Chad walks away, and that's kind of a really sad way to end the entire series. And finally, we see that, like, Sonny definitely still has feelings for him, and it's like, is she gonna explore them? What's gonna happen next? Oh right, this is the final episode! This is the series finale of Sonny with a Chance. Right here, right now, series finale. This show has lived so many lives. I would say like the first season was its comedy life. The second season was its like really wacky life when it was singing so much. Then we got Chad Dylan Cooper and it became more of a working with Mackenzie Fall type show. And then finally ending on like this third transition where they kind of add the patio, they kind of add Sonny singing, and then suddenly the show is kind of off in a new direction. I sometimes think that maybe it was best that it did end this way. All the introductions of this final episode are not super welcome in my eyes. Like, I am in love with what I started with, which is all these kids on a sketch show. I like it when characters get developed, but I don't like when the original premise is essentially forgotten. Like, I want to see Sonny Monroe become a comedian. I want to see her struggle with issues comedians struggle with. And I mean, that happens a lot in this episode, but we do get more of a... They're trying to make Sonny a singer. They're trying to get Grady in a relationship. It just seems like every time they're trying to talk about the sketch show, like specifically in this episode when they're trying to figure out the perfect sketch, but Chad Dylan Cooper keeps getting involved. It's like they don't actually care about achieving that goal. They just care about talking about Chad Dylan Cooper to lead to the actual plot they want to talk about. But I was actually curious about that sketch. Like, show me Sonny struggling with this sketch because of her own emotional issues, not Sonny trying to start her own music career, dealing with her ex-boyfriend. Like, this is any episode of a TV show. I would say it's one of the weakest episodes I've seen of Sonny with a Chance in general. So not only does it stink that it ends that way, it stinks that it was going in that direction. You do have to think that, you know, when Demi Lovato left, like, this show had an X amount of episodes already ordered. Do you want to be the actors and lose your paycheck for the next 20 episodes because of one thing one other person did? No, that's not really fair. So they did have to do So Random as the third season, which I do not count as Sonny with a Chance. I mean, given the title change, it's not fun to know that this redirection of this sketch show has come from losing an actor. Like, clearly you guys didn't come in with like, hey, we have a new sketch show. It's like, oh, let's just make this a sketch show. Like, I get that they were trying to make what needed to happen, but it didn't end up being good art, and business needed to go through, you know, like they needed these paychecks, these actors were committed, but sometimes you gotta critique the art, and the art was not there after that. Why is Sonny developing a singing career? is what I really want to know. Like, I just don't think it's necessary for her to have that passion. That sounds ridiculous, but like, it's like maybe in a scene or two, or she's passively learning a song later. But we chose the character Sonny Monroe to be the show more than the sketch show itself, and that's fine, but start that in the first episode. Sonny Monroe is funny. She's here because she likes seeing people together. She likes comedy for that reason, and sometimes it's okay to bring in a song or two. It's cool to have a crush on the next door love interest that's a star of another TV show. This is all a part of the sketch show, but then when it becomes about her completely independent of this show, we lose it. So Random is what Hannah Montana was to Hannah Montana. You know, the show's about Miley, but her entire life is about Hannah Montana. So it's Miley living as Hannah Montana. Sonny's life is living as So Random. Imagine if Miley stopped being Hannah Montana completely, started pursuing football, and then all these episodes became about football. That doesn't make any sense, does it? So once we lost So Random as a fundamental feature on this, and it just became about this person like Demi Lovato, it's clear that they loved Demi Lovato so much that they almost rewrote the show to make her work. And you know what? That's the show's biggest problem. I think you needed to stick to the original premise a little bit. Like, Miley Cyrus was incredibly talented, and we loved seeing episodes where she was growing up or taking on other interests that weren't singing, but something always wrapped back to the pop star persona. Maybe even the attitude of the character, the idea that there's a secret you have to keep. I kind of wanted to see an episode where Sonny explained her tan. Like, how did you get from first episode to last episode, and this tan is like completely different? That's like a metaphor for what should we have been focusing on throughout this show. I want to know what led this small town girl to ending up in LA getting a tan. Like, that is a huge identity issue, and we're not even talking about identity on this show. Like, Miley Cyrus would have talked about that on Hannah Montana, but this it just didn't happen. But like, yeah, have an episode where Sonny Monroe is finally tan and maybe it affects her personality. It's just, I could think of so many episodes that would have been amazing for Sonny with a Chance. You know, so fun fact, I actually found online Sonny in the Middle from season 1. I found somebody selling their script, so I actually have this script in my possession, and obviously most people are like, okay, that's kind of like that. Is that show even popular? Why do you have a script for it? I'm like, I love it because I love Sonny with a Chance. And the first season, the show that has the best first season is also the show that failed the hardest. It's so sad to think about, honestly. And it was really promising where it started in the second season. Ego versus humility, comedy versus drama. Overall, Sonny with a Chance died trying to rebrand itself. The second season was already changing itself so much that it's no surprise that it eventually did fall flat. It has its musical era, it has its Chad Dylan Cooper era, it has its Sonny dating era, and then it goes to Sonny singing era, and then it goes to... Why? Why does it go to that? Thank gosh, right before you give Grady a girlfriend and Chad Dylan Cooper a depression arc. Like, I was scared to see that where that was going. So I guess this finale did work better than I thought. No, not for real. This is a perfect example of how the show was never the same again. Sonny with a Chance, New Girl, is the end of the best part of Sonny with a Chance. Now, if you guys want to see any more videos, just let me know in the comments, and I'm curious how you feel about this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Johnny2000, covering the TV, film, and music of the 2000s. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. So Suite Life of Zack and Cody was actually a really fun show. It reminded me a lot of Drake and Josh in that it was like two brothers bickering leads to most of the events going on. Buddy comedies are just so fun to watch. But Suite Life of Zack and Cody was so much more than a buddy comedy. It was like a full-on ensemble show with Brenda Song, Ashley Tisdale, Mr. Mosby. They were all such lively characters in that show. So the Suite Life on Deck got the finale. But before we talk about that, let's talk about the Suite Life of Zack and Cody's finale. A much more disappointing piece of art, I will tell you that. I was going to make an entire video on the Suite Life of Zack and Cody's finale, knowing that it would have just been like a little standalone episode. I knew they didn't get a formal finale, but was I expecting this? No. What's up, everybody? It's Johnny 2000, covering all 2000s media, from movie, TV, video games, and so much more. So Suite Life of Zack and Cody not only didn't have a finale, but their final episode was a clip show. It's called Mr. Tipton Comes to Visit. In this episode, Zack and Cody are going throughout the hotel because they found out that Mr. Tipton is coming to visit, and if he's in a good mood, he is going to award one of the employees $50,000. And of course, Zack and Cody wanted to be their mom because that would inherently be them too. And meanwhile, everybody else in the hotel wants this bonus. The entire episode is literally each and every cast member taking turns explaining why they think they deserve the bonus, along with a series of characters' most wackiest time. And don't get me wrong, all the moments that these characters had were super funny, but they belong to those other episodes. I don't like to count clip shows as the episodes because it's just not fair. It's not like somebody used the entire 20 minutes to tell a story. They used like 10 of them, with the other 10 being just the clips. Being the final episode of the entire show is also just a slap in the face. Like, why couldn't it just end with the episode before that? Let us entertain you. I mean, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but that's the one when they visited the Suite Life on Deck boat before they went into the show. Yeah, pretty meta, huh? But yeah, once we see the end of Zack and Cody, like, that's it. And honestly, it looks worn out. Not only is it, like, oversaturated, and the boys are looking too old for running around in the hotel, but their hair's gotten really long, and it feels like nobody really wants to genuinely be there anymore. It's almost like they outgrew the show. But I do feel like that for the second half of the third season in general. So why create a new show? Oh yeah, because Disney Channel didn't get Zack and Cody season 4, so they had to make it a new show. We all know this story. So the Suite Life on Deck ran for 3 seasons and stable run. Stable as in they had a beginning and then they had an ending. And we're going to be talking about the ending here. The ending is what Zack and Cody never got. The conclusion of Zack and Cody stepping into adulthood and no longer being in school. I like that all these shows are doing that as a part of their last season. But let's dive into the episode and kind of talk about what worked and what didn't about the final episode of the series. I've never been a big fan of the Suite Life on Deck. I think the comedy is a little worn out. I think the cuteness of the kids is nowhere to be seen. It feels like all grown up from the Rugrats, but if it were bad. You know, like, it's like maturing in the wrong ways. Zack and Cody feel a little worn out, and honestly, they become a little bit insufferable toward the end of the series. Their stereotypical character personas just no longer work for me. But when I was seeing this episode, I was definitely pleasantly surprised. So everybody walks into Miss Tutwiler's class. The students receive some news, which Bailey hopes that Mr. Mosby and Miss Tutwiler are going to get married. Oh, I forgot that they were together, actually. But instead, they're telling the kids that the ship has been sold, and all the seniors are going to have a week to prepare for graduation.
Yay! They're taking apart the stupid C school! Yay!
Zack learns that Maya has actually been accepted into the Peace Corps and will be assigned to the country of Chad for 2 years.
Whoa, who is this Chad guy and why are you assigned to him?
Chad is a country.
Woody and Addison are responsible for putting together the yearbook, and Miss Tutwiler is chasing London because apparently if she doesn't pass her foreign language class, she's not going to be able to graduate.
Cares if I graduate? I do! I'm your teacher! Well, you're not very good at it! I haven't even passed a foreign language!
And I could have sworn London shouldn't have been able to graduate for years. So later, Zack tells Cody that he actually needs to break up with Maya. He can't do a long-distance relationship. And he becomes, like, super emotionally distraught.
You could practice your breakup speech on me. I'll pretend to be Maya. You know what? I think I'm just gonna wing it.
But she interrupts, saying that they should have dinner later and talk about it. They hug, and it seems like Zack is actually too in love with her to probably go through with breaking up with her. Meanwhile, Miss Tutwiler chains London to the desk until she can pass Spanish class. Oh, I wish I had a teacher this committed to me.
Soy Emma. You're a vegetarian?
Cody goes through the mail and sees a letter from Yale University. Woody takes it and tries to read through the envelope despite Cody's pledge to open his letter with Bailey. He ends up finding out the word regret is in there. So Cody is about to panic because his life is almost over. He reads the rest and finds out that, yeah, he was rejected. He slumps into his bed in tears, and it's kind of depressing. Woody tries to cheer him up, but not even math will work. Cody's worried about Bailey too, because obviously if he didn't get in, she wouldn't either. Zack tells Maya that he thinks they can make things work, but Maya ends up breaking up with him anyway, telling him that she doesn't think a long-distance relationship will work. Oh, well, that's depressing.
No, we can still be friends.
No, don't touch me. I can't believe I wasted the best 3 months of my life on you.
No, baby, don't say that.
I'm not your baby anymore.
Bailey comes into the room and tells him that she did get in.
You're Mr.
Oh, no.
Yeah, maybe the whole framing thing is a bad idea.
Meanwhile, London finally learns Spanish, and thanks to Miss Tutwiler, she gets to graduate.
Congratulations! Felicidades! Merry Christmas to you, too!
Meanwhile, Carrie and Kurt come aboard, happily awaiting the boys' graduation, which is so exciting to see both of these characters again. Carrie in the pilot and finale, that's awesome.
Would you like a CD?
No, some child support would be nice.
And then Kurt is just a nice welcome guest. Bailey finally meets Carrie and Kurt, but she delivers bad news. Cody did not get into Yale and won't come out of his room. So Maya then tells Kurt and Carrie also that she broke up with Zack and he's not coming out of his room either. So the boys, both of their lives are falling apart, and that's exactly what I would expect at a graduation, which is so fun because you're celebrating, but you're also devastated. It's like real graduation.
I'm so sorry, and I will not be there for Thanksgiving.
She must have heard about your cooking.
Carrie and Kurt decide to split up. Carrie talks to Cody and tells him that he's brilliant and it's Yale's loss.
There's always Princeton.
The armpit of the Ivy League.
Meanwhile, Kurt talks to Zack and tells him that there will be other girls. And this is a nice throwback to the original series because it's been a while since we've seen this side of the boys. Like the ones that like actually listen and respond to adults.
But I went on the road with my band and I've done just fine.
Yeah, but I don't want to be the creepy old dude hitting on waitresses and filthy truck stops all across the country.
Hey, they've really upgraded some of those truck stops.
The parents tell the kids that the other sibling isn't going to graduation either, so they actually run out at the same time and asks each other why they aren't going.
What do you mean you're not going to graduation?
Each other why they aren't going. They convince each other to go together.
But it's... Look. Cody, forget about Yale. And forget about Maya. This is our moment, so let's get out there and have a great graduation.
And Carrie and Kurt reflect on how they raised such wonderful kids. And then Arwen's there, which is super exciting, and he's still obsessed with Carrie and jealous of Kurt, which is a really welcome dynamic to bring back.
Why'd you bring this guy?
I'm their father.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm their stepfather.
No, you're not.
At the ceremony, Cody and Bailey deliver a heartfelt speech. Bailey tries to speak, but she says she can't do it. She doesn't want to go to Yale without Cody because she loves him too much. And Cody talks her into going through with it and says they will still be together.
You deserve to go to Yale.
Yale won't be the same without you.
Yo, none of us out here are going to Yale.
Then Frankie, the construction worker, actually starts to tear the ship up already. Mr. Mosby calls Mr. Tipton and finally stands up to him, telling him that they are going to finish the graduation ceremony before this happens.
Right, but we're trying to hold a graduation ceremony here. Your daughter is one of the graduates. No, I'm not kidding.
And we finally get to see him stand up to Mr. Tipton. Like, this is a cool finale to Mr. Mosby's character arc, defending the kids. It makes us really like him. And the students line up with Miss Tutwiler, say their names in alphabetical order, and Woody thanks his mother.
Can't believe our boys are graduating high school.
I know!
Zack, for some reason, gets to make a speech himself and recites, "Congratulations to the senior class, high school, and you can kiss my..." and then it gets cut off, so obviously they were gonna have him curse. The graduates throw their hats in the air and they have officially graduated. At the juice bar, for one last time, everybody says their goodbyes. Woody and Addison hand out the yearbooks, and the friends get to sign each other's.
I'm gonna miss you guys so much.
You're coming with us to the Yankee game tonight.
I know, but that's not for like another 4 hours.
Mr. Mosby finally proposes to Miss Tutwiler, which is also a good story arc for him, and she quickly replies. London and Mosby say goodbye, but London has Mosby's number on speed dial if she ever needs help, so we know these guys are going to keep in contact, which is nice.
And thank you for taking care of me all these years.
You are welcome. I am so proud of you for graduating high school, and so proud of the woman that you've become.
She calls right away and is sad because she doesn't want to leave him. Aw, that's so sweet. London was gonna miss Bailey, so they hug, and hugs Zack and Cody before she's off to Paris.
Bye, Zack. Bye, Cody.
Actually, London, I'm...
Cody and Bailey hold hands and talk about how even though Cody's not going to Yale, Cody will still visit him and they'll see each other in 2 weeks for the mat tournament or whatever. Annoying, but I'm glad the show's ending here so I don't have to see that. They share one last romantic kiss on screen, and then Bailey hugs Zack too and leaves. Mr. Mosby finally approaches the boys and tells them that he always thought that they would be the ones to destroy the ship, and admits that he will miss them. Aww. Then the twins ask Mr. Mosby where he and Miss Tutwiler will end up living, but he doesn't tell them. He wants the boys out of his life, but Zack and Cody say they'll always find him and scare him away. I think.
I don't think he wants to tell us. Doesn't matter. We'll find him.
Zack and Cody depart the ship and head off to see what new adventures await them. Zack stated that wherever they're going, they are taking the hot tub with them. The episode closes on a yearbook with pictures of the students. So yeah, overall this was not a terrible finale, but it just reminds me how we didn't get one from the original Zack and Cody show. If anything, I wish this were at the end of the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, where we flash forward 3 years and get to see them graduate. But I mean, otherwise, I guess if you're a Zack and Cody fan, it's nice to get a new show, it's nice to get a new series. I don't love this one, but at least the finale was rewarding to the characters we knew and grew up with. I really wish they brought in more of them, like Maddie and Esteban. I'm sure those actors aren't up to that much, you know? Like, please, just come on one last time. You guys owe it to them. But otherwise, you know, it did the best it could. I'm so happy we get a moment where they're kind of reduced back to their old ways. Everything gets reverted back one last time before we finally head out to the real world. And that is the perfect end for a show like The Sweet Life on Deck. And Zack and Cody. I just wish they worked together. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm not sure what you guys thought of this finale, but please share below. I'm so excited for you guys to see the next couple of videos I have planned, and I hope you guys enjoy. Have a great day from Johnny 2000.